What is up, guys? We are currently outside in the shop. I had to bring the Centauri carbon out in the shop. This is V1. This came out with their original release. I was able to get one of the first batches, and I've had it for a year now, and it's printed well. It's had some clogs, but it was usually because of filament, you know, like cheaper filament and stuff. After I switched over to like Elegoo or Anycubic, it did really well. I didn't have any issues after that. So give me 1 second. Like I was saying, hadn't had any much issues. No adhesion issues. The main issues that I've had with it was the firmware, but recently what ended up happening after I was working on a project, I was in the middle of a commission and I was trying to print something quick on the Centauri because it's very reliable. I really enjoy it, but this happened. As you can see, I added some mods on it and different things. It's currently on, and that is the screen. There's no boot up. Here, let me try it again. Let me turn it off. Well, let me turn it on. How about that, actually? That's the issue. Okay, I turned it on, and this is what happens. It is stuck in a boot cycle. I looked online. I didn't really see anything initially from Elegoo about this issue, like in the Facebook group. I'm one of the followers in the Facebook group. I've been since I've got the machine, since they pretty much announced it and it became public. It used to be the beta testers and alpha testers, but then it went into being public pretty much. So I was able to join it pretty much immediately, and then that's how I got my printer. So what ended up happening is this is stuck in a boot cycle. I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find it on Elegoo's website. So what ended up happening is I found an older post from last year. Some people had this issue, and they had mentioned it was a power cord issue that was going from a USB-C connection issue that was going from the main board to the print head. So let me get in here real quick and show you. I have a mod. This is the Jesusfreak mod with the Nadroj railing system that's added into it, and it's done really well. So, you know, I'll make sure I link that, but that is awesome. You should download it. Let me take this off. Already taken the screws out of this, and I can show what they are. They are sitting in here. They are these little screws, and I don't know if you'll have this in your pack. You're gonna have to get a set of Allen keys that fit this. I can't remember what size this was because this was with my one of my old Neptune, like my Neptune 3, so I had them in my print form and I was able to grab them from there. So they fit really well. These are the right ones. Take those out and turn off your printer because you don't want to mess up with your main board. Unplug this and turn it back on, and it will indeed boot up. See, look, it's actually loading. It has finally loaded. It's letting you actually access the main hub, the main screen, but right here it says, printhead anomaly detected. Please troubleshoot the connections between the main board and the printhead board. So what's happening is that one's unplugged, so that means that the cord actually is broken, and a lot of people actually have this issue with the USB-C. What's happening is these people are dealing with this enormous kink that's here, and it ends up grinding down because it's actually tucked in here, and that was my issue. I think my break is about right there, and it eventually breaks over time because it's dealing with the extruder, the extruder tube right here. It is putting too much strain on here. So some people, what they'll do is wrap it around. I can't remember the original way it was because I had to take this out. But even then, from the movement, because this is sitting in this protector chain cage, it's gonna wear out because of that harsh angle that's sucked into. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I have brought, what I've gotten was like a 400 watt USB-C cord. USB-C. Yeah, I'm freaking out saying that. It's just, I'm saying it so smoothly. To replace this, so I'm going to troubleshoot this by replacing it with an Amazon USB-C power cord. And it should be fine, because people have said that they've used them. But also, ironically, I actually ended up getting this package from Elegoo just recently. They said it was going to take up to 20 days. I talked to his customer service, but they actually were able to get it here faster. So what I have here is, which I just told them that the cord was the issue pretty much, and then they said, well, we know exactly the parts that we need. They sent me an extruder board, a motor head, you know, print head board, and then, give me 1 second. This will be my luck. I cut this. Be gentle. Be gentle. There we go. And a brand new USB-C print cable from main board to print head. So what I'm going to do for science, since this is my first one, I want to be able to ensure, okay, well, if you're not under warranty, you're not able to get these parts, will off-the-shelf parts work with the printer just in case you're not able to get this anymore? Or who's to say you're out of warranty or this or that? Or Elegoo actually never updates their catalog where you can actually order parts off their website, which I highly recommend them doing. Just for any kind of machinery, you need to have a catalog that people can order from so they can be able to you know, update their machines, or, you know, do that preventative maintenance, because these are technically, you know, machinery, not industrial, but almost. But so they need to be able to, you know, do preventative maintenance on their machines. So almost every single part of this machine should be available to a certain degree of catalog, or some kind of link to an order, so you can be able to have that backlog to be able to order from. And they should do that. I think that that would be a helpful thing. So let me get the USB-C that I order off of Amazon, and we're going to test it out and see if it actually works with this printer. Let's go ahead and do that. I forgot before I turned it on its back to be able to access the boards and the cables. I just realized that I have all this crap in here, and I want to try out the Nadroj V1. Like, it's like a sweep ramp, I think. So we're going to try that out. Wow, my gosh, it works. So this one, it's supposed to have a double adhesive tape on the back to be able to help swoop this stuff out, but swoop, sweep, whatever. There's another prototype. Crazy. But for the most part, it's supposed to just be able to help grab this stuff out like that, you know. Interesting. If I had the double-sided tape, it would be doing, it would look a lot better. Of course, before you get to this point, make sure that your printer is unplugged, it's turned off, as well as, you know, your glass not being on top of it or anything like that. Make sure that you secure your door to be shut, possibly, because, you know, it could fall off. But right now I'm going to take all these screws out of here and take off the panel and access the USB cord. And there is our main board. And as you can see, the USB-C is right here. It is actually glued in. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to remove that. And should be pretty easy. But it is clipped into here. We're just going to remove this, plug it in the top, and test it out. We're not going to try to fully remove it yet until we know, yes, it works. The, you know, Amazon cord works. Then we can install the actual Amazon one, but we will be afterwards replacing this piece just with the branded real piece that they sent me. So yeah. And really, more than likely, more than anything, the reason that this little hot glue is here is really for shipping. It's to make sure that the stuff doesn't get knocked loose and everything like that during shipping. So I don't think I'll need that, you know, outside of what we're doing now, because we're having to replace this piece anyways. I'm not going to put another glue dot, a dot of glue I should say, on there to make sure that the cord does not come disconnected, because it will be sitting on a shelf for printing. It's not going to be moving around too much. So we're going to go ahead and get the other one, which is this, the Lissen USB-C 6.6 feet 2-pack. I was able to get off of Amazon. So here's this information so you can be able to see it. Pause it. I will have a link listed in it for you. That is if it works. Alright. To be 400 watts, and that's what they say, because it at least takes 200 watts for the braided cables, or at least the cables for it to work. So let's try this out. So I'm gonna plug that in right there, and I'm gonna put this back where it's sitting up so we can be able to plug it into the top and then test it out. So I'll be right back. Just want to correct myself. It's 240 watts on this one. So I believe that they said that it's 220 watts, or at least 200 watts it needs to be. So I'm thinking we're okay. I'm gonna double check real fast before I do this. So we are back. Yes, 240 watts will suffice. It will be enough to be able to power the board on and make it work. So we're going to plug it in, and then we're going to turn it on and check it out. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. So we got it plugged in, and we're going to go ahead and power it up and see what happens. We're going to look at that screen and see if it boots up properly with the Amazon Lissen 240 watts USB-C power cord. So, as you can see, this is not going to work. All right. So, this one is not feasible to be able to be operating this. All right, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try it one more time. All right, we're trying it again. I tried to check just to make sure that the main board was okay, and it was. So we're going to see if it boots up again, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this out and then see if it boots up by itself, and then we're actually going to end up trying the Elegoo brand cable that they sent me to see if it works, and we'll see what happens. It's kind of unfortunate because a lot of people actually were saying that these cords would work if it's up to 240 watts. So maybe it's a certain USB-C that they're actually trying that actually works properly. I could be wrong. After all, this is for science. All right, let's try. All right, so we've got this hooked up. We're going to go ahead and put the new one into the power supply spot for the print head. And I'm going to tuck this cable up here just so it's out of the way. And then we're going to plug this puppy in, and we're going to test her out. All right. I'm flipping it on. All right, that's good. Interesting. Okay, so what we're going to have to end up doing is actually removing the board from the print head. It's just not the cable. It's going to be the print head as well, the print head board. So let's go ahead and take it out. What I'm going to do here is actually jog the bottom. You see I'm literally trying to think about it. I'm so sorry. The belts. I'm going to jog the belts to lower the main plate down so I can be able to access the print head a little easier from the door. So that looks about good. And that won't affect anything once you power it on and you're working on it. When you do all your calibrations, it's going to be fine. It's going to do your print head calibration. It's not going to affect anything substantially. You'll be fine. This happened to me back in the day when I first got it, and I had a jog error, and I had to manually jog the build plate up, and then I was able to calibrate correctly. You're going to be fine. So we're going to go ahead and get in this and change this out, and we'll come back. As you can see right here, we're going to remove these top 2 screws and this bottom screw here. This back plate's going to pop off, and you're going to see the main print head board. I have made sure that the printer is turned off and unplugged, so make sure that you're doing these things before you do it. You do not want to have your printer on while you're messing with your circuitry, or it will fry your board possibly for your print head board or your main board. So you want to make sure you're not doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect all these connections and replace it with the new one, and we're going to power it up, test it out, and see what's going on. So with this, as you can see, hopefully you can see that around this board there are tiny Phillips heads, screws, and you will need to have a Phillips head screw driver that fits that size. Let me see, let me get in frame to fit that size to be able to remove those. So, yep, make sure you have a tiny screwdriver like this to be able to do it. Initially, we thought removing the screws, you'd be able to move it. And that is just not true. It's stuck. And it's not on this cord either. It's down here with this component here. The reason why is because you try to lift this up, you have 2 blocks. You have the USB-C female right here, and then you have this piece down here that's actually connected to another board. That other board, let me swip it around, is underneath the print head. So you'll need to remove that screw. Sorry, I'm pointing at the screen. That screw to be able to dislodge this from that connection. That's that elbow connection, to be able to pull it out, to be able to remove it, and then to put in the new one, okay? So as you can see, I removed the multi-piece connector, or multi-pin I should say, sorry, but multi-pin connector from that elbow. So now we should be able to lift it up and then pull it out after I disconnect that top piece. So let's go ahead and get to that. As you can see, I'm right here with this cord. And we're just going to remove that out. I've been already removing it. I just want to be able to be off camera so I can be able to get my 2 hands on it. But this is the next piece that you'd remove to be able to put the new one in. I've removed it, unplugged it, and we're going to replace this board, well, for the focus, with the new one. So this is the old board. I'm going to write on the back something old, so I know that it's bad, but I can keep it just in case anything happens. Alright, let me zoom out here. We've got the replacement board here. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and install it. I wonder if I can be able to get a good shot of this, maybe me doing it. Maybe I'll try to figure something out so you can be able to see it a little easier. I've got the replacement piece for the print head board from Elegoo. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and connect it. First one I'm going to connect is the shorter cable that's at this harsh angle. Just going to throw that in. Boom. All right, that's good. And then I'm going to push the USB-C up here. And what we're going to have to do is have this colored cord come through, multicolored cord, come through. And it's going to give some resistance. But that's the way it's going to be. Just want to make sure it lines up correctly. Go ahead and plug that in. All right. And then we're going to button this up with the screws real fast just so it's sitting in place, so when we actually put this bottom one in, it's going to connect correctly. Okay. This is going to be the tiny Phillip heads Just gently do this because this board is fragile, but because of this power cord, how it's sitting, it's almost pinching that. You think that they would make a little bit more. See how that's coming in straight like that? That's it's a very harsh angle for that cord to be coming out. See, I don't know why they wouldn't have had a, it is what it is. All right. Keep it light when you're tacking them down. Don't over tighten them until everything's in place. Just hand tighten just where it feels comfortable. All right. And then let's go ahead and put that pin connector in. Gently, don't push too hard, okay? All right, that looks good. And we're gonna button the bottom screw. There's a bottom screw that goes in here, and then that goes with an Allen key, the smaller one. All right, that's tightened up, and we're gonna put the chassis back on, and we're gonna power up and see how it goes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of fly through this. Let's go ahead and put the back piece on. Just did all that work in putting this print head back together. We have the new board in it, but I left this sitting up here. It's supposed to be down here to receive the fan. And before you freak out, and if you do the same thing, you don't have to worry. There's a slight slit in here. You just push this through, so it's no big deal. So don't freak out. You're not gonna have to take it apart. So we're gonna go ahead and plug the fan in and then boot this puppy up. I've noticed since I've been outside that my door is actually not closing as well, because maybe it might be because I have this heater going on inside, but it's also colder out here, so it's kind of messing with my door a little bit. It's like a little cockeyed, which is interesting. Which is kind of interesting how it shuts here at pulling. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and boot it up. We have the new one plugged in with the new board, and we're going to go ahead and cut it on and see how it boots up. It's not going to boot up because it's not plugged in. We have the new print head board in and the new USB-C plugged in on the top and into the main board. We're going to go ahead, and it's already plugged in. We're going to turn it on and test it out. There we go. We've got the boot up. So our issue was I wonder if this is the actual cord or if it's actually the board that is having the issues then, because it's booting up. What I want to try next is, this might not be a good idea, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try the Amazon cord and see if it properly boots up as well. All right, so here it says print head anomaly detected. Please troubleshoot with connections between main board and connecting board, print head board. Let's go ahead and reboot it and see what happens. The way it's loading, yep, see, look, still the reboot screen. So let's go ahead and go underneath and check our connections, make sure we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and try it. We're gonna try it again. I pushed the USB a little further in and it clicked, so I think it's going to boot up now. So let's go ahead and let it load and check it out. There we are. Okay, we are booted up. Perfect. All right, so what I'm going to do, we're going to do a full calibration. I'm able to access all my screens. We're going to come down here and we're going to do one-click self-check, select all, and then we're going to start doing our input shaping and everything, just to test it out and make sure we're good. My cord is sitting up here, but as of right now, I don't want to do anything yet. I want to make sure that it's good before we start, and it's going to run through and do its self-checks. And then after that, I'll feed this new cord actually through. So I think that's the main issue is that connection point that was at the bottom. It wasn't fully pushed in. So that's the new cord, not the old cord. The old cord is not working, communicating. So I think that the old cord is broken and the board had an issue as well. All right, so the calibration went through. Everything checks out. So we're going to go ahead and slap a beautiful spool of Elegoo white PLA on it and do a test print real quick. Beautiful. Already done. I just want to make sure that it actually was doing okay. And that was just a little test print I had for a spacer. Looks good. Everything looks okay. Didn't even print out the white, but eventually we will. Yeah. So we have successfully fixed our printer by installing a new USB cable and new board. But for science, I want to try something. I want to give it another shot. You'll see what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you, don't do this at home. I'm doing this because I want to see. This is for science. I put the new board in. I've taken the old board out. I put the new one in. I want to see if it was truly the board that was the issue and not the cord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Amazon cord just in case. So if that helps people, then they will know that they can rely on that if their cord actually breaks or snaps or goes out. So I'm going to try this. I hope it doesn't do anything. Okay.
Yes! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah!
Okay, so there it is. The Lissen 240 watt cord does work. So what happened was, more than likely, this old cable was broken, shorted out the other board, and it locked up during printing. So if you have to, you can use the Lissen 240 watt that's available on Amazon as a backup to test. And if it still doesn't work, then you need to get a new board for your extruder, your print head board. But it's possible, but it was the print head board that was messing up the printer. So we've replaced that. We have the new one that we're gonna have placed in it. So that's just so you know, you can use a 240 watt USB-C as a replacement cable if your cable breaks, but typically if this breaks, it's also going to short your board. So just contact Elegoo to make sure and see what their options are that they can help you with. Typically, if it's going to have a cable issue, they're going to send you a new board, because if this breaks, it's going to short your board. Now we have to take out the old cord and replace it with the new USB-C cord, so I'm going to show you how to do that. You're trying to get your power USB-C cord out because it comes down through here. You're going to have to follow it out, and you're going to have to pull that out to be able to replace it. So there's two screws back here. You're going to take your smaller Allen keys and unscrew them, and it's going to come out like this. And you're probably gonna you're wondering to yourself, how am I gonna get that out of that link right there? Let me show you. It's a extruded plastic cable chain. What you're gonna do is, if you can see, you can't force it through, and then the other side wouldn't even come out. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take this piece right here. You're just gonna pry that. Oh, sorry. You're gonna pry this piece away. Doesn't matter which side, as long as you can get your thumbnail or something in there. And as you can see, look, watch. Let me bring this to the light a little bit. You're gonna force it up, and then it's just gonna pop off like that. Put it back together. Put it back together like this. Click it just to keep it so it doesn't get lost. And then we're gonna have to feed the rest through. This is gonna be an interesting part because it comes through here. So you're gonna pull that down. We're gonna end up having to undo all of our cables that are plugged in through here. And then we're gonna have to replace them eventually with new zip ties. And that's gonna lead to the bottom, so we're gonna need to make sure everything out of this, and then that can move around, shift around, then put it on its back and get that USB out. Here we have the old one here, and this is just the power cable, and it's actually tethered into all of this through down here, and it has a cable wrap protector around it. So we're gonna have to cut this piece right here off this post back here and cut those too, which I really don't want to be honest, but we do not want to have this anywhere near anything else, so we'll go ahead and cut it. I'm pulling this through the chain cable protector. I'm gonna unwrap that and then eventually pull it out. So I've got it unhooked from the zip ties on both sides, and then now I'm gonna pull that USB out and then reattach them. So I've undone this, and I've got the cable completely pulled out, and now it'll be through the top piece that has to be pulled out. So I'll go to that next. All right, so what we got here is just the last home stretch. We're gonna pull this out. Hopefully we won't have any issues because that side's not as bad. Perfect. Look at that, came out really nicely. So now we'll add the, oh, look at that part right there. That's crazy how tight that zip tie was on there. Look how bad it's kinked. We'll put in the new one and we'll go on from there. Yep. So what we're gonna do is take this and thread it through the chain. We've got the new cord, and we're going to feed it through this chain. So we are gonna take this piece off again. All right, so we'll put that right there. And it's gonna go like this. So you wanna make sure the extrusion is out, facing out where the clips are. So you're just gonna click, click, boom. It's a little harder just because this is a brand new cable. It's a little stiff. A little funky. There we go. Just wiggle it a little. Press it in. Excuse the sniffles, it's cold outside. Let me turn off, I'll turn my heater on. A little hotter. There we go. You see, I got all this extra. I was like, oh my gosh. Don't worry about it. Look, boom. Back to normal. Back to normal. So, main order of operation now is feeding this back through, wrapping it with the loop. So what we're gonna do, put this down here, drop it down in, feed it through. And this is gonna be kind of the game of finagling. Yeah, the kind of, let me try this a little better. Feel your way through this. What might be a good idea too is to grab like a little piece of cord and wrap it around the charger cable, and it'll help it feed it through properly. It's the way to do this, but as of right now, these are the cards I'm dealt, and this is how I'm doing this. All right, give me a second. I'll tell you, literally, right after I turned the camera off, I got through. So what I ended up doing is, let's see if it's a one-time fluke or not. Pushing it back up in there. I have the string pushed against it. I'm pushing it up into this spot here while simultaneously pulling on the back of it. There we go. See how I did that? Pushing, pulling, and redirecting with the tweezers. You probably could do it with Allen keys as well because they're at the same kind of angle as this is. But that's how I got this one in. And what you're going to do is just feed that. Sorry, my camera's not focusing. You're going to take this, gently feed. Actually, let's not tuck it behind the motor yet. Pull it down like this. Pull it down while you have all the slack in it that you have. This is where you can bring this chain back up. And you are going to, so you're going to reconnect this piece on the bottom. You see how this is turning? You want this to remain facing out with the teeth. So you're going to turn it this way and clip them on. Put yourself some slack in there, pull back, and put your bolts in right there. Make sure that you leave yourself enough slack to be able to deal with the chain. This is going to be the best bet. Sticking this in here and praying that it doesn't pop the chain again. It's going to sit right here, and then we're going to have the boom in there. All right. So now we're going to have to feed that down through and wrap it around with our Chinese finger trap. Going out to the shop, got my oats overnight, and then my order from Walmart actually came through. I ordered a ton of paint cans, the filler primer, and I got an order today. I got a text saying it was being delivered to my house. I was like, oh, cool. Well, I didn't realize they split my order in half and did some from the actual store that's close to me that said that I didn't have anything in stock, and then a few more cans, like 3 more cans, are coming to be dropped off via shipping, not through delivery service, which I thought was crazy. And it's like in a little Walmart bag. I was like, wow, these things are pretty tough if they can handle all those cans. There's a ton of cans in there. Look, how many cans are in there? It's a ton. So it is the next day. I'm working on my projects, painting stuff, and I was going to go to Harbor Freight and get some mini zip ties, but I remembered that Elegoo used to give with their Neptunes. They used to give extra zip ties, mini zip ties. So this is from my drawer of my Elegoo Neptune 4 Max. So thank you, Neptune 4 Max, for this. I appreciate you. So I'm going to go ahead and button up the cable back here with 2 zip ties, and then on the bottom it gets about 2 or 3 zip ties as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what I did. First try. There we go. Put it on 2 different ways, doesn't matter. It's not going to affect the printing at all, just OCD. Alright, and we're going to put it on its back and get the printer cables buttoned up. So you gotta be gentle. And then now we gotta put this all together with the new cord. But what I might do is there is a cord that's wrapped up in this actually, but it's not gonna matter really. I'm gonna fix that later, so it's all good. So we've got 2 left. There's actually supposed to be 3 here, 2 here, down here, and then 1 up here. I'm just gonna do these for now, and then I can always go out and grab another one. You know what I just realized? This one wasn't added. Lord have mercy. Let's go ahead and just plug it in to the main board. Make sure it clicks. You hear that click? That means we're good. And we can take the slack out of the top, so you don't worry about it. Okay, there we go. Let's get another zip tie. Alright, that was good. That's why it's always important to keep all your paperwork and packets and everything. It always comes with extra goodies. This came from my Neptune 3 that I had for a few years now, and it's still helping me out. It's coming in the clutch. So, yeah. Let's get this wrapped around here, just so I can have it back to like similar how it was. I'm not going to tighten this one down all the way. More than likely they had these ones plugged in like this for shipping purposes, but so it wouldn't come loose. But I'm just gonna barely put any tension on that. The last one that we had completely kinked. We don't want that. We want a good long life out of this cord, so we'll just leave it like that and throw these away in the trash can. So now what we'll do is we'll button the top back on, and we should be good to go. Printer's fine. It was running fine before that. This is just the, you know, little simple stuff. We'll put this plate back on with the screws that we took out, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the video for the USB-C removal and replacement, as well as the removal and replacement of the print headboard. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and make sure you smash that like button and get that ring with the bell going on. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm going to have a review coming out on this, a year-end review for the Centauri Carbon, as well as the Anycubic Kobra S1 Combo, and the Bambulabs P1s Combo review. So I've had them for a year. I'm going to do a year-end review for them to see how it's been like having them for a year, what I've been going through with it. So just make sure that you subscribe and turn the notifications on for my videos. Thank you.
Subscribe.